toasty afternoon. It is a beautiful one. I have awakened from my nap, ready for some Artemis coverage. No, I'm just kidding. Ready for some Cruise 7 coverage. I was like, last time I was out there for a launch was Artemis. So anyway, got like an hour or two nap. Now here we are. We're tracking things on our afternoon coffee talk, and I'm going to be with you all night long getting ready for Cruise 7. What a beautiful day of weather we are having. Look at that tower cam shot. Good night, is that beautiful. Partly cloudy skies as we look over downtown Orlando. Blue, oh my gosh, it is just lovely out. Let's head into downtown Orlando. Looking good from our Lake Eola tower cam. It's on the view, kind of looking off toward the tourist district. Speaking of tourist district, let's see what's doing there. The water park. Now, I don't understand. I feel like I don't ever see like a ton of people. I guess it's back to school, but like you'd think you'd see some people out there. I mean, is anybody even like on that big slide? I see some people around. I don't know. All right, Lake County, let's check in by you. Oh, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful day. Mainly clear skies. Orlando International Airport, you checking in? Looking good? Yup. What about the beaches? Daytona Beach. Ah, love it. New Smyrna Beach, just down the shoreline. Look at the color of that water. My God, it's beautiful. And then, of course, into Brevard County. Kennedy Space Center. I'm going there in a little bit. I get to go play with a rocket. That's Falcon 9 standing tall, ready to do its thing. Yes. It's about 12 hours now. We'll have a rocket launch here. I'm taking the weather lab over there. We're going to be doing some Facebook broadcasts and some TV stuff. And because the Tropics are doing their thing, not only are we going to be talking about space nerd stuff, but we are also going to be talking about the Tropics, right? So anyway, that's where we're at right now. Let's check in and see what's doing on our first Warning Live Doppler radar. Just as I said all morning long on Sunrise, a few showers out over Polk, Hillsborough, Sumter County, kind of working over to the Nature Coast. All in all, not a bad one. It's a toasty one, though. Oh, I went 92 for a high, you putz. It's 93 in Orlando. It's 93 in Claremont. 95 in Wildwood. So, looking good out there. We look at the winds. Hold on. Winds. I have to type the word winds. All right, here's a look. The breeze looking great. Particularly at the beaches. Like maybe I need to have my pullover just in case, because overnight it does get a little cool with that moist air. So feeling great. Let's take a look at Futurecast. Dial that up and just kind of see where we're at for this afternoon, evening. Obviously, the stuff is out over our western areas. There's 6 o'clock looking fantastic. 10:30, 11 o'clock looking fantastic. Some clouds rolling in overnight. Don't think that that'll be a big problem for us. And then through the day tomorrow, a little bit of rain out west, but that's going to be about it. So we're really looking at a fantastic forecast across Central Florida. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Debbie says, Eric Burris, meteorologist, you're so hyped up, and we know it's not sugar. Yeah, I haven't had any sugar. Naps are good for you. So are rocket launches. Yeah, when I got called in this morning to do the rocket, or when I got called in to do Sunrise this morning, it was the, we don't have to have you do the rocket launch anymore. And I'm like, no. Bad. That I want to do. So anyway, speaking of rocket launch, let's look at that forecast, okay? Early tomorrow morning, we've got the Falcon 9 rocket launch. And the weather is looking absolutely perfect. My remote connection to the remote computer just died, so I'm going to have to reconnect. Last I checked, it was, I believe, an 85 or 90% chance of good weather for it. So that's fantastic. I don't know what happened with the remote computer. Oh, that's so fun. I don't need a darn remote computer. At 90% chance of good weather is the last that I saw for the launch. So we're going to be out there tonight. we're going to be doing all the things. It's going to be fantastic. Checking out how it all plays out. I do want to make sure you know, though, that if you live particularly in our eastern areas, just know that we are looking at a sonic boom situation there, which is, it's never fun. So areas highlighted there in kind of the light gray: Volusia, Seminole, Orange, Osceola, Brevard counties. About 8 minutes after liftoff, that first stage booster is going to be coming back. And so it's one of those things you just may need to know. Laura says, I love sonic booms. Do you love them at 3 a.m.? I personally wouldn't say it's my favorite, but there you go. So super excited, super excited. Time window for the launch. Let me load up the graphic. The computer is being particularly grumpy this afternoon, and I get to use this computer all night, so I'm excited. Time window is around 3:50 a.m. 3:49 a.m., I believe. Yeah, 3:49 or so. So because of that, based on that, you're looking at around 4 a.m. for those sonic booms. Yeah. All right. So awesome sauce. And then that would mean probably I'd get to my house by about 5:30 tomorrow morning. Something like that. Yeah. Oh, Mike, you goober. You goober. All right, so that's where we're at. Any questions, comments, concerns? Of course, there's also a race over at Daytona tomorrow. I need to make sure you know. It's going to be a nice day, dry and breezy for the Wawa 250, and then for the Coke Zero Sugar 400, a nice breeze there as well. So, yeah, we're looking good. Evelyn, are you sure you've had no sugar? Promise I've had no sugar. As a matter of fact, I need my bariatric vitamin. I need to have that. Will it be live? Yeah, we're going to be doing special coverage. No, these things are terrible. Steven, raise your hand if you don't care about the launch. Raise your hand if you don't need to be so negative, Nancy. Who has two thumbs and is a All right, so that's where we're at. 7-day forecast. Let's check it out, my friends. Rain chances fairly low until next week. And that is where the questions are. Yep. That is where it gets interesting. Tracking the trot. You know what's so funny about this too is Manolfi put it on the 7-day, and I almost texted him and I was like, hey, remember we have that thing. So let's talk about the tropics. Gotta love hurricane season, man. All right, so let's talk about the tropics. Let me find the graphic. Essentially, the good news is we are not looking at any major fire-ups or threats at the moment. But what we do have kind of ahead is going to be an area of low pressure that's going to try to develop. Now, let's look at the satellite imagery as it is right now and look around Central America, okay? San Salvador, you see kind of that fire-up. That's a piece of energy that as it crosses over Central America, that land-sea interaction is going to end up giving a little bit of a spin. We call this, which is a pretty regular thing, a Central American gyre, okay? And when that happens, what you end up with is that added spin. And then once it gets into the Caribbean and thus the Gulf of Mexico, you've kind of got the start of tropical development. So the expectation here is we need to watch. Now, is it going to be a big, bad hurricane? Let's look at the model data together. But the development chances in the next 7 days do continue to rise. Over the next 7 days' time, a 60% likelihood that something gets going. We don't have models for it. It hasn't developed anything yet. All right, but, if we just look side by side at the computer models, you'll notice on the left a lot more moisture on the European computer forecast model. All right. Now, I will say, just pausing it right here, both the European and the GFS at least are now sniffing it out. And we'll look at the raw stuff. But just this afternoon, the GFS started to indicate something. So now both models are there. They're a little off on the timing, but both models are there showing something. Okay, a lot of moisture, if nothing else, for Central Florida. All right. All right, so let's do this. Let me dial up the raw models. This is what you're here for, right? This is what you pay for admission, to take a look at the raw models. This is the stuff we look at in the Weather Center, all right? This is known as mean sea level pressure normalized anomaly. You've got that purple dot. That's Franklin lifting north away from us. Not a bother to us, not a bother to Bermuda. This is the GFS. And notice the GFS is, you see that little green dot in the Gulf of Mexico? That's Wednesday at 5 a.m. That's the GFS saying there may be a little something, something out there, okay? A little something, something. Crossing over, around Tampa Bay. Nothing major, but something there. And then kind of hanging out and then going up to the Carolinas. And then another something on the GFS developing out in the Gulf of Mexico. That's super fun. All right, let's switch over to the European. There's Franklin. There's the gyre spinning up and then going in right around the Big Bend. 991 low. All right. Now, if we look at the Florida view and we look at the wind speed, the European is showing it as a tropical storm. Yeah, strong tropical storm, 55 mile per hour winds, that kind of a thing. That's the latest European strong tropical storm. If we go back, that was kind of a weaker tropical storm. If we go back, this was actually showing like a low-end hurricane. So at the moment, at least, it looks like we're talking about a tropical storm. I mean, I'll take a tropical storm over a strong hurricane any day of the week. You know that. I'm already seeing people freaking out like, do I need to buy bread? Do I need to buy water? Let's calm down. Okay. Thomas is asking, will the National Hurricane Center bump this to an invest? They will once it starts to develop. It just has not done that yet. So there's not a huge concern. Now, as far as the GFS ensemble members go, let me go out to a bright. All right, so there's the GFS. There's the GFS Franklin, and then you can see more and more of the GFS ensemble members are trying to show stuff in the Gulf versus earlier. There's not a ton, but there's definitely more. If we look at the European ensemble, I mean, you've definitely got a bunch of ensemble support. And then if we look at the Canadian ensembles, you know, there's definitely ensemble support for the Florida Panhandle. Most of the lows are kind of trucking through the Big Bend there, and then some of them are kind of getting stalled, but that's not likely. These ones that are kind of going through the Florida Big Bend are definitely the most likely scenarios. So we're definitely seeing tropical stuff. We're definitely seeing it. There you go. There you go. Watching the tropics. East side, the wetter side? Yes, Stephen, it would be the wetter side, but it depends how organized it is, etc. You know, that sort of thing. Hold on one second, it's Kellyanne. Hey, let me just finish up coffee talk. I'll call you right back.
Oh, okay, goodbye.
All right, bye. 'Tis the season. Yep, it is the season. So at this point, listen. We don't need to be freaking out. We just need to be watching. You know, if there's one thing that I hope you listen to me, remember, Central Florida weather depends on weak tropical systems like a tropical storm. Gusty rains, we can handle that, okay? But do not freak out. Next name on the list, by the way, would be Adalia. So there you go. Do not freak out. Nothing is formed yet, but just don't freak out. It's this time of year. That's the way it goes. Okay? So when would this happen? Like mid next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, something in that window, right? All right. Do you see a lot of flight cancellations at MCO? My sister is trying to fly standby to New York. Hold on. I mean, 20 delays, no cancellations, so that's good. Gandy says, I just want the UCF game to be played. Oh, I do too. I want nothing but the UCF game. Yeah, hopefully we'll be okay. All right, so we need some rainfall. We'll take it. I will be posting and tweeting and Facebook Living. We're going to do all the Facebook Live stuff. I'm going to do a special edition tonight. Okay. And then I might even do an overnight because what the hell? I'm going to be there, right? All right. So we'll be watching. Kaylin's asking, likely this will become a hurricane, question mark? No, the models have backed off on intensity. It's showing a 55, 60 mile per hour tropical storm. You know, for us, we get that in an afternoon storm. It's important to remember the perspective. Rain with a name, a gusty storm with a name. That's kind of what we're looking at. We're not looking at anything severe. Okay? Okay? Good. Next time I see you, I'll be at the Kennedy Space Center. Be the sunshine in someone else's day. Have a great afternoon. Take care, y'all.